how did this wonderful band come about?
Well, the band came about back in, I want to say 09, something like that. It was basically, I had a job where I was flying air tankers on wildfires. That was my job. And my wife and I started having kids, and it was time to quit that. So I basically picked up guitar again as a way to have something to do while the kids were taking naps, you know. And I hadn't played really in like 12 years. And then 12 years later, I remembered it was in the closet. So, and the weird thing was, it just connected so fast. And I think within 3 months of picking the guitar back up, I was already writing new stuff, and it was in this sort of hill country style. And you know, less than a year later, it was our first tour to Australia, and that was because of we got the first album was put out by an indie label in Adelaide called Stogie Sounds, which it doesn't exist anymore, but they're the ones that got me and Coop here over for the first tour in 11. Me, I actually had seen YouTube videos of him playing the Deep Blues Festival 09 in Minneapolis, and he was doing. He was the only dude I was seeing doing R.L. Burnside covers that sounded like he had the timing, you know, down, where it wasn't just choppy beat driven. I mean, not beat driven, but like he wasn't counting. He was feeling, you know. And I'd seen a bunch of people playing R.L. and I just not doing a very good job to my satisfaction, and saw Coop. And then the weird thing was you were on that Big Joe Williams.
Yeah, I was on a compilation through that Stogie Sounds. I performed as a one-man band, and I can't remember how I got in touch with them. I think somehow through some YouTube stuff, video stuff, and they asked me to do a song on this compilation album for Big Joe Williams, and I said, heck yeah, man, I'll do it. And so I sent them one.
And they were putting our album out, so I was checking out who else was going, and then there was this CW cat again. Then of course it turns out he's in the next state over from me. You know, so it was just, and then you came and played a gig in Austin.
I did one gig in Austin.
And I offered him a place to stay, and then you went to Juke Joint Festival in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So we all just hit the road for Mississippi, and and it's kind of been going ever since. More, and then I guess we didn't really play together from 12 and 13.
Yeah, but in between there, I was doing still doing some touring and different drummers, just because of the distance. Apart from us, we couldn't really get together and play.
It was like 666 miles from my front doorstep to his old house. It was the mileage of the devil.
Yeah. I had started in 09. I've been in other bands, you know, in my hometown for a couple of years. And I was just getting more and more into the hill country and R.L. Burnside and Junior Kimbrough and stuff. And the guys that I was playing with just had no interest. And they wanted to play loud and fast and drink all night and the whole party thing, and it just fell apart one night. And I saw a guy named Richard Johnston at a blues festival, and he was playing one-man band style. And I thought,
in hill country too.
If my band ever goes in the downhill, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give that a shot. And of course, it all worked out just like that. So I got me the drum kit and started learning those songs, and one-man band style, and it just kind of took off from there. Where I live is in southern New Mexico, and there's no blues there.
That's a tragedy.
Yeah,
that's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, you got your bar bands, I guess, you know, they'll play just the same kind of cover stuff, you know, every bluesy type songs, but there was not anybody really that I can think of that was really just doing that, especially hill country stuff.
So how did you discover hill country if you've grown up with virtually in a place with no blues? How did you discover the blues?
You know, I was always just kind of an old music fan. My mom she sang country and stuff when I was a kid, so I would kind of listen to that and then figure out who those guys listened to. And a lot of those old country guys were just playing blues songs.
With twang.
Yeah, and then I just kind of stumbled upon it, you know, and of course when I picked up guitar, I got into Stevie Ray Vaughan and who he listened to, and it just led back and back and back.
Worked your way back.
Stuff. Yeah, worked backwards.
Same here.
Yeah.
As soon as I liked Stevie Ray, then I started liking Albert King, and then you start figuring out all back from there.
Yeah. So it was a really natural progression that way, and those are the ones that just stuck. That hill country, there's something about it, the simplicity of it. Alleged simplicity of it, yeah, and the rhythms of it, and just how it's. I like the straightforward stories in it, and the songs are just.
It's all about the groove.
It's all about the groove,
and it's real honest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I can't speak for Coop, but for me, I come from a working class side. I've always had my hands dirty, or always been out in the cold and the rain while everybody else is drinking coffee, wondering what it's taking me so long. And so it's a working man's music as well. And that part, because the thing is if you want to play this stuff really well, you've got to come up with kind of the laziest, least amount of effort way to play it, because those dudes work with their hands, right? So the last thing they wanted to do on Saturday night was tear their hands up playing guitar, because their hands are already hurt from work.
Now, they've brought a guitar in, so we might just hear a little something. What do you want to do?
Well, we were thinking Robert Belfour passed away last year, and so we thought maybe we'd do one of his tunes, because he was sort of the last of that generation that was playing hill country, was still performing, you know. So this is one called Pushing My Luck. Coop's going to sing it. Can you hear that?
Yeah. It's all good. Now, speaking of bluesmen that are no longer with us,
There's a bunch of them.
you, CR, just recently had your first article published.
Oh, at Rhythms, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes,
and let's talk about your friendship with the great man.
Well, like I said in the article, I feel kind of funny saying that we were friends, because I'm not sure between the age difference and the culture difference and the rest of the stuff, but I loved him very much, and was blessed to be able to spend some time with him. You know, hang out on the porch and drink whiskey, and run his merch table for a few shows, play a few shows with him as well. But yeah, old T Model, he was in my estimation, he was, when he passed away, that was the end of that chapter of Mississippi music. Like, there was nobody else, because he died at 92, and he's a dude that still had scars on his ankles from being on a chain gang, for murder, and oddly enough, it was murder in self-defense. I mean, the guy stabbed him in the back. He pulled the knife out of his back and then cut the guy's throat with it. So he was a pretty rough dude, and he had a streak of mean-ass crazy running from one end to the other. But when I met him, all that was just starting to erode a little bit. You know, he still went nuts from time to time, but.
Him and Burnside would have got on well, wouldn't they?
Well, there's some stories about that actually. Like, remember when they were doing juke joint caravan tours back in the late '90s and stuff, and it'd be like the RL and Cedric and Kenny, and like Paul Wine Jones, and then be like T-Model and Spam, right? So Cedric would play drums for Paul. Paul Wine Jones and T-Model had a very similar style, and so they would compete each night to see who could get the crowd going the most, you know, and like T-Model would say something like, "Man, Paul," said, "I play so much better guitar than you tonight, they're going nuts." And Paul turned around and was like, "Man, if you even dream that you play better guitar than me, you better wake your ass up and apologize."
The music that came out of Texas and the incredible bluesmen that come out of Texas, what is it about Texas that with music and
Well, Texas has got, so you have to look at Texas as like a crossroads in the United States, right? So on the east side of Texas, that was sort of the western limit of French colonialism, right? So you got Louisiana, Texas border right there. So you got a lot of French over on the east side. Down the south side, that's our border with Mexico. So you have a huge Latin influence that comes up through the state, right? And then we had this, obviously they had the plantation culture as well. So they brought in the slaves to do the cotton and all that sort of stuff. So that's where the blues came from, and gospel and all the rest of that stuff. So what happens is you get this mixing pot of all these completely different ideas. But oddly enough, they're all drawing off the same place. So for example, that Have Mercy album, we had Buckwheat Zydeco on there. We had Rockin' Doopsie Jr. and his brother Anthony. They're playing this incredible Zydeco accordion on top of our stuff, which is a Texas version of Hill Country, right? But it all feeds in. I mean, and I was talking to those cats. They come to the accordion festival in San Antonio, Texas, to go play Tejano music and play with bands in Bulgaria that come over and play polkas and stuff. But it's all this. It's just a mixture. I mean, like if the vibe is there and it's all made for feeling, the stuff mixes and matches. So it's weird that the music that's you can't point to a single kind of music and say that's from Texas. But the Texas bluesmen like T-Bone Walker, you know, holy crap.
Freddie King,
Albert Collins, Lightning Hopkins, Mance Lipscomb, Stevie Ray, Johnny Winter, Chris Whitley, you know, Jimmy Vaughn. I mean, upper tier.
Johnny Copeland, holy
crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually own one of Johnny Copeland's old amps. I bought it for $250 in a pawn shop in Fifth Ward outside of downtown Houston in 1989. And he sold it because he just got a PV sponsorship, so he didn't want to have any Fenders on stage, right? It is the most thrashed piece of crap amp you ever saw in your life.
That's a piece of blues history you've got there.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible. But anyway, yeah, so Johnny Copeland, I mean, but
a
Gatemouth Brown.
Clarence Gatemouth, yeah.
I mean, but then at the same time, you know,
Otis Rush.
No. Otis Rush. Sorry.
Otis Rush.
I was thinking Bobby Rush.
Otis
Rush. Yeah. So I mean, you got all these cats, and then of course you have the next crop, which unfortunately, I don't mean unfortunately, but you know they're treating Stevie Ray as the source.
Yeah.
So you have this next generation.
They all want to be Stevie Ray,
but they're not looking at what influenced him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So like, there's a really good blues festival in Navasota called the Mance Lipscomb Festival, and a good buddy of mine, Orange Jefferson, who has a band over on the east side, was headlining that thing for years and years and years. But it's really friggin' small, which is a shame. Because if you listen to Mance Lipscomb, especially the stuff where he sounds a little electric, it sounds like something would come out on Fat Possum in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that if you can do it with the energy and not worry about the structure, then all that stuff is absolutely related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can draw a straight line from Austin, Texas to Oxford to Lafayette. And it all matches up. The only thing that changes is the instrumentation.
Yeah, and people say blues all sounds the same.
No, that's total BS, man.
Yeah.
Real blues does not sound the same.
Yeah.
That same old blues crap where everybody's doing 12-bar, 1-4-5s, and they're doing it all night long, that sounds all the same. Yeah. But if you're able to throw in that deeper stuff, you know, like if you do some, like we did the other day, some Skip James.
Yeah.
You know, he is out of left field. There's no one can tell me that man ain't blues. But he doesn't fit in that box of structure, but the feeling's there.
Absolutely. All right, we've talked too much again. Let's get some music happening. What are we going to do?
This is off the new one. It's called River Song. It's about where I live. We got the Rio Grande River right there coming through. but it doesn't always have water in it. So this is about it when it's got water. One of the prettiest rivers you'll ever see.
That's true.
When I see that old river, feel like my soul, yeah. And the water just make me lose my control, yeah. That's my home, babe, I got me nowhere else to go. Well, I see it now, baby, rolling down so slow. And the water changing, I gotta keep on. I'm gonna keep on. That's my home, girl, I got me nowhere else to go. No, I'm gonna go down there. Well, I see it now, baby, lost in your eyes. Oh, baby, it's gone. But you turned and you left, baby, you're out of sight. Don't you worry, baby, well, I'll wait for you here all night. I'll wait for you. Never turning back, baby, don't you turn back. 'Cause the river will always go, now my name is gonna call me home, baby. Don't you worry, baby, my love will always be the same. Oh, it's gonna be the same down by the river, baby. Don't you worry, darling, my love will always be the same. Let's go down the river.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, take it away.
some other man, got some other man, got some other man, you got some other man. He always a hanging around. I see him hanging out your back door. I see him rather be dead, 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 6 feet in the ground. Say what? There you go, magic. Well, well, well. Going down south, I'm going down south. Going down south, I'm going down south. Cold wind blow, 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 blow. Woo! Yeah. Come and see one. So black man, 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 so black man is always I don't care where you go with that cold window. I'll be right by your side, baby. Be by you, baby. Going down south.
Yeah. Absolutely wonderful. The juke joint's alive. The blues on the hill. Juke joint's open for business. We were going down south. Hill country classic.
Great, dude.
And doing it justice here with these wonderful people. It is time to leave. I've got to say goodbye first. Thank you, Benny Gerard. Thank you, C.R. Humphrey. Thank you, Aaron Gillette.
My pleasure,
Thank
mate.
you, Jordan Hyde. Thank you, Julian Byrne. Thank you, Rattlin,
thank you.
Blackwood. Thank you, Cooper.
Thank you.